How do you feel when you read those comments?
Oh, look, at the end of the day, you just got to pray for people like that. At the end of the day, really, I mean, what's wrong with them? I mean, I'd hate to live their life, but I don't have time to spew hate. I mean, sometimes I'll clap back just to, and I do sometimes, and that's for to push it to the algorithm because it's engagement. You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like all right, well, if I have to engage, I'll tell them they got a small penis or something. Just
I
I'll
saw
play with it.
your
I do, yeah, I do.
I
I'm a
saw
bit
the comment
cheeky.
you replied back with, and I loved
Well,
it.
Wearing a T-shirt that says "Never Made."
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.
Welcome back to Never Made Weight. Today we got a special guest, somebody I've been seeing all over Instagram. She's an amazing Muay Thai coach. Her name is Sandy. Sandy, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Sped?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Sandy, I've been coming across your videos. My algorithm showed me a lot of fighting stuff. So I came across your videos a couple times, but today I went ahead and I clicked follow. And I went through your videos and I really enjoyed your detailed breakdown of technique. I love to see stuff like that as a fight fan. I noticed a lot of people are talking shit. I'll get to that good stuff later. But really right now I want to meet you. I want to know who you are and how did you get here?
Oh man, I'm from Australia. I was yeah, I was a Muay Thai student from the age of 15, and I became a fighter, and I later on became a trainer. Um, but I sort of felt like I wasn't really cutting it as a trainer, as in I was blessed in my career to work with really high level coaches. Um, who taught me a lot. You know, I had, you know, good people around me that I was able to learn good things from. So I saw very early on a high standard. And I guess for me, being a female, and back when I was fighting, I think I had my first fight in the year 1999. um, don't tell anyone how old I am. Yeah, 99, and there were not many girls around. I had to fight the same girl so many times. You know, being female and not whinging, I'm not sounding like a whinging feminist. I'm just, it's a fact. Females didn't really like. It was all about the males mostly back then. I mean, girls trained, but they never really fought, and there weren't many of us around, so um, we kind of weren't really looked at. You know, on the big shows, none of us really turned pro. We just got in and fought to fill the card, and you know, a lot of the boys loved to see the girls. It wouldn't be common to see girls on a show when I was fighting. So I guess we were a bit exciting for people to see because it was rare to see two females having a smash in the ring. And now I go to shows now and there's four or five females on one card, which is just brilliant, you know. Um, Back in the days of Thailand, you know, I was in an era when females, we weren't allowed to fight over there. Um, not we weren't allowed in the big stadiums to touch the ring. There were some camps where I wasn't even allowed on the floor at the same time as the pro boxers, just being a female. So my first responsibility was to help the Thai women to cook the food and look after the boxers and just play a role as the female in the camp, you know, taking care of the fighters, taking care of the boxers and then Muay Thai second because I was a female. So at the time, I felt bummed out at the time because I'd gone for Muay Thai, but I think now having built and ran my own gym, I'm so glad that I got those lessons on how to feed people, how to take care of people, how to look after the boxes and look after the gym and make sure that everything's running smoothly, make sure everyone's okay. I got to learn that from being with those Thai women. It was our job to make sure they were fed, to make sure that everything was running okay, to look after them, you know. So it wasn't until I was older that I got to appreciate those lessons. It wasn't so bad being the female in the camp because I got way more than just Muay Thai. I got to learn all sides of it. Whereas I look at it and think most males just get Muay Thai if they're lucky. Um, Now I haven't been for so long. it's, it's I can see through the screen now. It's very different. Um, I'd love to go and spend another 3 months there just to see what it's like now. I hear girls are fighting at Lumpini Stadium now, which is absolutely unheard of in my era. And good on those girls, that's a great thing that the sport's evolving. I just wish I was younger and and had the opportunities that the girls have got now. So I kind of fell into coaching accidentally. I was living on the Gold Coast and I was training and fighting, but I had to move back to Brisbane for work. And I ended up living on North Stradbroke Island. I took a job out there and I got dumped. A little karate club got dumped on me. The guy who was there didn't want to do it anymore. And I started out in karate when I was young, but I didn't want to do the karate anymore because I love Muay Thai. I was still an active fighter at the time. So I said, you know what, let's forget the karate, let's do Muay Thai, and the whole community showed up. So that's when we burst Muay Thai on Australia. And that was in the year 2004 or 2005, I think it was. And that's really what kicked off my coaching career. And I wasn't a great coach at the time. I made the same mistakes as every new coach. I got too excited. I couldn't wait to get the fighters in, and now I look back at my old self and think, oh, wow. The less, if you'd known what you'd known now, you would have done things differently with them. And I guess that's a part of life. We look back on things and go, wow, 10 years ago, I wouldn't have had the same thought process as I have now. But even now,
Yeah.
as I'm coaching now, and I got very good mentors in the sport. Some of my Thai trainers I still talk to and ask questions. I've got great mentors in Australia. Some of the top golden era Australian fighters, Nugget North, Mark Pease, Shane Forrest, the guys like that. I've still got them around me, still asking them questions. What do you think of this? Am I doing this right? But I'm still a student. I'm coaching now, and my goal is to be the best female coach on the planet, and that's my goal. But I want to always remain a student because I don't think that we know everything. I don't think it's possible to know everything. So I'm always open to learning, always open to growing and expanding my knowledge and sharing it with others.
I noticed that you said that you opened a gym for free for people going through mental health issues. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I lost two of my fighters to suicide a year apart, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
yeah, it sucked. Thank you. It was terrible. One died in 2015, and the one died the following year, almost a year to the day. The first one died April 6th, and then the next year in 2016, the other one died on April 1st. So, and the other one was my nephew, and both of those boys were like family to me, and I just thought, wow, how could that hit us so quickly within a year? How did we go from, living our best lives to absolute devastations? Not only two families devastated, but our community was devastated, And I just thought, well, we could cry and drink and play the victim, as a lot of people do when they're hurting. They'll turn to drugs, they'll turn to alcohol, they'll try and mask the pain. I ran at it head on, and I got the gym going to keep people active and to stop them from going down a path. And I think I did a couple of charity fight shows. I think we raised like over 50 grand and gave it to charity.
Wow.
We gave it to various charities, the Alive Foundation, Beyond Blue, Survivors for Suicide Bereavement. There was a few more. We paid for funerals. There was so many things that we were able to do with the money that we raised through the fight shows. It was terrific. But I think that was before the gym come along. We just did the fight shows. When I built the gym, I'd been working out in the mines, and I came home and COVID hit. And not only that, we were also doing merchandise sales as well. Like we were printing off merchandise and selling it. So that was part of the sales as well. So yeah,
Cool.
we got we did a lot of stuff for raising money for good causes. And then I thought, well, we've raised all this money and we've given it to all these charities, but what have we actually done for our own community? So I thought, you know what? I don't want to do the fundraising again because it was COVID. Everything was falling apart with COVID. The whole world stopped. No one was allowed to talk to anyone or touch anyone or go near anyone. You remember that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd been working in the mines at the time and I had about 150K in the bank. And I'd also got like a small inheritance as well. So I just used that to build the gym. I just went, let's not raise the money, let's just use what we've got. So I used that to build the gym. And I just set up 2 shipping containers in the backyard and built a ring. We welded it all up. Did a lot of it ourselves. I can weld, so me and my mate PJ welded that ring up. We had a lot of help from good people too, like Punish. I have to give a huge thanks to Punish Fight Gear. Punish Fight Gear were fantastic. They donated a lot of stuff to us to use, bags, Tide pads, gloves, lots of stuff.
Amazing.
Yeah, they
That's
were
amazing.
fantastic. So I really want to always say thank you to Punish.
Sandy, what sorry to cut you off, but what I find more amazing is that you just took all that and you dedicated to opening a gym to do something for your community after like I mean the thing is look, we posted a video about you 2 hours ago saying that you would be on the show, and I think like 30 people already commented talking like about how good
Have
of a
they?
person.
Really?
Yeah, like 30 people are like I don't know, I haven't checked right now, but last I checked, there was 30 comments talking about how good of a coach you are, how good of a person you are, how amazing you are. Now,
That sounds like I owe a
you
lot of
seem
people
like
money, mate.
somebody you seem like somebody who puts everybody's everybody on your shoulders. Am I getting the correct vibe from you?
Yeah, look, we'll get into it later. I did. I carried a lot of weight and I cracked under the strain, which led to the closure of the gym. I ran out of money because I was doing it for free and I wasn't just running the gym. I had to maintain it, when gear wore out, when the sun beat it down, when the things would break, we'd have to go and replace it. And, there was just no money left. And look, bless our community. We had our community, we had the local uh, butchers, giving us mad discounts and, throwing us
Wow.
meat like they were great. We had, the local second-hand stop at the op stop that you guys call them. They gave us $5,000 to be able to take the kids, feeding them all because I'd feed them every week. I was spending about $700 a week feeding the kids, and
Wow.
that money goes quick. So we had Sea
Yeah.
Level 21 put on a fundraiser and gave us 10 grand. You know, but again, $700 a week, it doesn't go far. You know, um,
Yeah.
and also, like there was, Extravagant Carpentry. They gave us a car. Like we were going to the mainland because we lived on an island. I was putting my car on the barge. And that was like $200 return. And then we'd have to, buy the kids lunch, and it wasn't McDonald's. It was good lunch, healthy lunches. We'd take them to a Thai restaurant or out for something healthy, and you'd feed them all and make sure that they ate well. If we went to fight shows, we had to put the car on the barge. Again, accommodation, because being in Brisbane, it was an overnight trip for us. So I'd pay for the accommodation if we couldn't find anywhere to crash for free. So the money just went so quickly, so quickly. And, you
It
know,
tends to go quickly when you're responsible for a lot of people.
yeah, it did. You know what? Look, I think looking back on it now, I just had no boundaries. I wanted so much to give the kids the opportunity to see a life outside the island because on the island, it's a pretty place. Look it up, North Stradbroke Island. Beautiful place. It's paradise. However, there's a lot of things that are going on over there. Drugs, crime, drinking themselves to death. People are turning on each other. It's very, very, very toxic. And it's such a shame because our community are suffering for it. And the ultimate decision they're making is to take their own lives. Now, it wasn't only our 2 boys, there's been other people in that community that have taken their lives, but when it come to us, our turn, 2 of our boys from our gym, that's when I stood up and went, "No way, this isn't happening anymore, not on my watch." So, yeah, we absolutely threw everything we could at the gym, and I think because I didn't want government grants, because I didn't want them to tell me how to do it, because I don't believe that, once they're getting funded for things, and I'm not bagging all charities, please don't take me as that, but I know a lot of charities are just businesses hiding behind a not-for-profit signature. There are a lot of that, and, there's CEOs that are getting big fat bonuses in not-for-profit organizations. Explain that to me,
Classic. That's
you
a
know?
classic.
Yeah. And I just think, well, what's your purpose? Real charity is when you've got your own money and you'll just build a gym or build something. That's charity. That's charity because I didn't ask for nothing. I just did it because it worked. I got at grassroots level, at ground level with the kids, with the adults that were struggling. We had people from 5 years old right up to 91 years old was our oldest lady. 91, everyone come into the gym, and it was just such a, I didn't want the government's money because I didn't want to do it their way. We got to tick boxes. We got to become bureaucrats. We got to sign all these forms. We got to turn people away because they don't fit the right funding box. I wasn't willing to turn anyone else away, so I just said, fuck it, and paid for it myself until it all ran out. And then I had to stop because I had no more money.
W where did this selflessness come from? Were you always like this?
Oh, look, I think reflecting because I ended up having a nervous breakdown. Um, I shut the gym mid last year, and it just broke my heart because we were never supposed to shut the gym. It was supposed to go forever for the community. That's what I thought. For some reason, I had it in my head that the 150 grand was going to last forever. Idiot. But I think reflecting and looking back on it, I got my own traumas, as we all do. I think that comes from, the fact that I do love people and I do want to see people right. But I also think now that I've done a lot of healing work in the last 12 months, a lot of that come from me wanting to be accepted as well. So I think people who lack self-worth, which is me, I'm learning now that they do things for people because they want to be accepted. And not many people will ever admit that, but I'm happy to. You know, I didn't do it because I wanted everyone to like me. I genuinely wanted the suicide to stop. And but also I think I went above and beyond because I wanted to keep everybody happy. You know what I mean? I built the gym, I trained everybody, I fed the kids, but I didn't have to pay for them to go to town. I didn't have to pay for them to get PTs from professional fighters. I just did that. I didn't have to pay for them to sit VIP at fight shows, but I just did that. And I think through doing my own, looking at myself, I think you probably wasted a lot of money doing that. And, some people would never admit it, but I think it was because I just wanted to keep everybody happy, as a trauma response from my own, lack of self-worth. That's about as honest I can be with you, mate. Yeah. So I think it comes from two places: a genuine want to help people, and also a lack of self-worth, wanting to be liked by everybody. That's a fact. Yeah.
I've never heard anyone explain that like that.
Yeah, that's healing. That's what I've learned through my own healing journey in the last 12 months since having a nervous breakdown. So I wanted to come back and see this side of myself that I've never known. I've grown up in Australia. I don't know New Zealand. I've never grown up in my culture. So it's pretty cool, man. The people here are really cool. I love New Zealand. They're excellent people. I love them. I should have done it
Obvious
sooner.
Obviously, everybody loves you back. You're
I
you
hope
s
so. Look,
you're very loved, but it seems like, for whoever doesn't know, your Muay Thai videos on Instagram get a lot of views, and
yeah.
some you get people talking shit. Can you tell us about why we're seeing that on your videos? what's the problem they're having, and how do you feel about it?
I think you'd have to ask them that, mate. Honestly, like I think it's easy to talk shit now, isn't it? Because you don't get smacked in the mouth for it. I mean, it's easy to rubbish people when you can sit behind a screen. I mean, really, you're in America, mate. I'm in New Zealand. I can call you an asshole. What are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Not that I would, but people, unfortunately, we live in a world of screens, and people can say what they like, and there is no accountability.
But
Um,
why are they so pissed? Why are they so pissed that you know what you're doing? Like, is it because you're a woman? Is it because you know you're heavier than the average
oh look,
Thai fighter? Is like I don't get it. You know, I see people just spewing hate, and it's like to me, how do you feel when you read those comments?
oh look. At the end of the day, you just got to pray for people like that. At the end of the day, really, I mean, what's wrong with them? I mean, I'd hate to live their life, but I don't have time to spew hate. I mean, sometimes I'll clap back just to, and I do sometimes, and that's for to push it to the algorithm because it's engagement. You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like all right, well, if I have to engage, I'll tell them they got a small penis or something. Just
I
I'll
saw
play with it.
your
I do, yeah, I do.
I
I'm a
saw
bit
the comment
cheeky.
you replied back with, and I loved
Well,
it. It's
look,
fun.
I'm genuinely quite, you know, I've got pretty thick skin. You know, I've grown up with glasses. I had braces when I was a kid. I was actually a skinny kid. I was a really skinny kid. I used to get picked on for being so scrawny. I was a real
Yeah,
skinny kid, and
yeah.
yeah, I think once I hit adulthood, you know, and stopped fighting, especially, man, like I didn't have to go on any weight cuts or anything, and I just love food. And but not only that, I think you know I'd lose weight. I'd always had weight up and down with my weight since I
Same.
stopped fighting. But when I got my lung condition from working out in mines, I can't physically train the way I used to. I can't, and it's sad. I actually trained today for the first time. I hit pads since I left Australia, and I've been in New Zealand a few months now. And the first time I hit pads was today over at City League Bar, and I got 2 rounds done, and I was done. 2 rounds, and I was finished. So
Well,
yeah,
this channel is called Never Made Weight. It's for everybody who hasn't been in, you know, who doesn't have that much fight knowledge and is infatuated with combat sports. Me personally, I'm 400 pounds, you know. So, and I've always been a fight fan. I mean, I did a little bit of karate as a kid.
yeah,
Nowadays,
cool.
I do a little bit of boxing. I actually have a series right now called Making Weight, where I go
Really,
train. Yeah, where I go train with different professionals at their
for
gym.
you,
Yeah,
that's great. Good on you.
and and whoever's talking shit doesn't know how much energy it takes to throw a punch.
Or look, like I said, I getting back to that. You know, how do I feel about those people? I look, I'd hate to be that miserable that I'd have time to talk shit. I mean, I can clap back quickly. I don't clap back and all. Most of them I'll delete. Like, there's some of them that are really bad, like really terrible. And I think there's a lot of kids that read this page as well. Like, I don't want them to see that. Um, I get a lot of inboxes. You know, people have actually offered to fight me. Men have offered to fight me, which I find that's quite disturbing for me. Like, really, listen to yourself. Like, um, but I don't let it stop me because I look, I'm confident in in what I am, my ability. I know, you know, in fight sports, I've got a lot to learn, as we all do. You know, I have mentors that keep me trying to push and level up. But you know, to these idiots that are talking shit online, they've never strapped up a club. They've never walked into a gym. They don't know what they're talking about. So it doesn't bother me what they think because they don't know. You know, why would I let it bother me when you're an idiot? Whatever. um, I think I find it disturbing sometimes because it comes every day. I get at least 30, 40 comments a day, multiple inboxes. A lot of them I don't even open. You see the hate and you don't bother opening it. But I just think, now it's turning a bit, I'm getting a lot more support as the page grows, which is great. I only got a couple of more years before I have to stop flying. I won't be able to fly in a couple of years because of this silicosis on my lungs. So I'm really trying to push this platform so I can get some seminars around the world. I want to go all over the world in the next couple of years and teach and continue to learn Muay Thai. So that's why I'm pushing this platform. That's why I clap back to keep that algorithm going, because apparently that's what works. I've had to learn all this. When I left Australia a few months ago, I only had like 1,700 followers, and it's just blown up. I don't know why people are so fascinated with a fat girl and her dog hitting shit, but they are. And
Where
look,
in Australia are you based in? Where in Australia are you?
Brisbane, North Stradbroke Island. Yeah, North Stradbroke
If
Island
I
in
ever get
Brisbane.
down there, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come to the gym.
Yeah, mate, you're always welcome. Like I said, the gym that I built is closed, but we've still got a little training area down the cricket club, Amity Point Cricket Club. They let us use the club down there to train. So I got, maybe 10 students there. My girl Holly, she's one of my fighters from the old gym. She's looking after them while I'm traveling. So the crew's still training. It's only a small crew now. So yeah, Holly's keeping them going while I'm out parading around the world.
That's amazing. Sandy, it was so nice to meet you.
You too, mate. I want to give a special thanks to my brother and sister Shannon and Kylie, who I'm staying with here in New Zealand. They actually flew me out to get me out of Australia because I was in a pretty bad place, dealing with that nervous breakdown. And they just said, get on a plane, come over, bring the dog, come over, do the gym, and here we are. So I think without Shannon and Kylie, I probably would have been in the cemetery. So I have to give them huge thanks because I wouldn't be here without them. And thank you to you, Ed, mate. It's been a pleasure. I love your accent, mate. I have to say, I love the American accent, mate. I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was a very big pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for doing the show. And
Yeah, man.
keep your
Anytime.
head up. Please stay in good spirits because obviously all these people love you and you've made such a positive impact in people's lives. And I just can't wait to see more of your reels.
Thank you. Well, I hope I'll be in the US one day. You know any mates over there that want to pull me out there for a seminar? Hit them up. Tell them to hit me up, mate. I'd love to get to America. That's my
I
dream.
will. And I will stay in touch, Sandy.
Thank you, Steph. You have a lovely evening.
If I'm ever in Brisbane, I'm gonna 100% come train with you.
Please
And if
do.
you ever come to Los Angeles,
I'd love to.
you have family here. It was so
Thank
great
you.
to meet you guys. Thank you for watching Never Made Weight. Your host Sped, our guest, Coach Sandy from Brisbane. Thank you for watching Never Made Weight. Have a good night, guys.
Wearing a t-shirt that says never made.
I believe him. I think he's telling the truth.